The year 2013 witnessed a series of successful merger and acquisition M&A in the real estate sector. For example, the Vietnam Infrastructure and Property Development Group Corporation (VIPD) purchased Vincom Center A of Vingroup at a price of nearly 10 trillion Vietnam dong. The Malaysia-based Pedana Park City bought the capital contribution of Vinaconex Hoan Thanh to entirely possess the Hanoi Park City project. The FLC Group spent nearly 300 billion Vietnam dong acquiring Alaska Garden City project of Alaska Land, and Comar 18 sold VP6 Lingdam project to Lai Châu Construction Company No. 1 of Mường Thanh Group. The M&A in the real estate sector continues to be made in the first months of 2014, which has made the market becoming more and more attractive. Hello everyone, and you're watching Sharing Vietnam on VTC 10 Net Viet. On today's program, we are going to have the talk on real estate market of Vietnam with the General Manager of Cushman in Wakefield, Vietnam. Please join me in welcoming Timothy Horton.
Thank you very much. Pleased to be here. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the new position. I mean, it's not brand new, but as far as I know, it's you have taken the position since 2014.
I have, yes. I've come on board here as General Manager at Cushman & Wakefield from the 1st of January, so it's exciting time. You know, the market is in a good place at the moment. So I see it's a good opportunity for us at Cushman & Wakefield to have an impact on the Vietnamese market.
On some of the article, you also share that you have been here since 2008. Mm-hmm. So from that moment on up to now, what are your general comment on the changes of the real estate market in Vietnam?
Sure. Well, the market has now become far more sophisticated. When I first arrived in 2008, there was a lot of transactions that were happening. The market was, very, very hot. The residential market was going through the roof, and I guess it led to where we were in 2009, 2010, where there was a bit more of an issue in terms of the supply and demand. That's when we saw the market really start to take a big hit. That then lagged on for a couple of years up until just recently, where we've seen a lot of the government implementations from a fiscal level but also a policy level, which are creating a bit more confidence in the real estate market.
What about the confidence from the foreign investment that maybe you have consulted?
Sure, we're seeing a lot of the people, a lot of the people that come and knock on our door are actually people that I spoke to, 5 or 6 years ago. They have a very good understanding of Vietnam. They understand, the macro and microeconomic fundamentals. They know the pitfalls. They also know the opportunities. So it allows their visit this time to be a little bit more refined. They've been to other markets in Southeast Asia. They've been into Indonesia. They've been over to Myanmar. And now they're coming back to Vietnam again, where land is becoming more affordable. Projects are now starting to become feasible again. And they feel that this is a long-term investment for them.
In the banking and finance sectors at this moment, we can see a lot of M&As deals have been made. It's also a trend in real estate market. What do you think about that comment?
Sure, yeah. No, we're starting to see in, I think it was Q1 this year, there was a couple of decent-sized transactions between large local developers. These transactions also help to drive the confidence in the Vietnamese real estate market.
So what is the meaning of those type of M&A deals which have been made up to now, and what are the contribution of that deal for the market?
Sure, I think what it means is really that these companies that have been around for a long time, they have developed, they do have positive track records. They're looking to expand. They have confidence in the market. And probably over the last 2 or 3 years, they've really started to, I guess, hold off and wait. And having 2 large transactions within Q1 of 2014 really provides that confidence. They are purchasing product or sites that, as I mentioned earlier, may not have been feasible 2 or 3 years ago. but through changes in design, changes in the end use, they now become feasible again.
The first half of 2014 saw many positive results thanks to the improved market confidence and the supporting policies from the Vietnamese government. The number of domestic and foreign investors has also increased. The first half of 2014 also witnessed a lot of real estate merge and acquisition deals. The biggest deal is the case where Rolls-Royce pledged to invest $2.5 billion in Vũng Rô Resort project. Anma Resort in Khánh Hòa province is another resort project which was also acquired early this year, whereby the Israeli billionaire leader Egan David Ahuvi offered $300 million for the transaction value. Sinhua Group, a Hong Kong real estate investor with many years of operation in Vietnam, has owned 48% of stake in the apartment project on 90 Nguyễn Hữu Cảnh Street, Ho Chi Minh City. The ongoing of M&A trend from 2013 to the first half of 2014 is a positive sign, implying the ultimate and broad development of the market. So, who are the one who taking part in those M&A transactions? I mean, the foreign investor or Vietnamese one?
Well, to date, it's been mainly the Vietnamese. But in saying that, given the large amount of foreign investors looking to come in, talking about 2014, if we talk about 2013, you know, we had obviously the Japanese interest coming in from not just the pure real estate, but other assets and other investment classes that have real estate components. You know, the Japanese were big infrastructure investors looking at ports, petroleum facilities. So they all have a real estate component which continues to drive the market. When these companies come in, they also need to take up office space. They also need to have housing for their employees.
With those kind of changes, really the benefits that those M&A deals bring to the people who are investing in real estate market or for the customer?
At the moment, I think it will be a two-handed, I guess, deal here. Obviously, bringing the money into the country also means that the construction will begin. It'll allow the construction, the cement, the steel manufacturers to all continue to be able to, produce this quality product for the development. For the consumer, the end user, I guess it allows them, but also brings to the market a higher standard and higher quality project. So they're getting more value for their dollar that they're spending, or the Vietnam dong that they're spending. So it's a two-sided coin here. I think the benefits are for both sides.
Apart from M&As, we also want to know your comment on the current policy that the government have made. And you mentioned earlier at the beginning of the program. What are your comments on the establishment of VAMC and also the huge money, a package of money that the government willing to support the real estate market? Sure.
Well, there's two questions there. The VAMC, I think there's been a lot of hype and I guess a lot of different stories in regards to how it will work. I think that it has created huge amounts of positive sentiment in the market. It shows that the government is taking the corrective steps in providing this company to take on the bad debt situation, which really did cripple the real estate and finance market here in Vietnam. What it will allow is, I guess, also for not just local investors but foreign investors to have some confidence that the government is putting the right procedures in place, that the VAMC are doing the right job at the right time, and bringing to market projects that previously wouldn't have been able to be released from the banks under their bad debt situation. In regards to the 30 trillion Vietnam dong package that you were mentioning, it's more along the lines of helping the more low-end affordable housing market. To date, I don't think it has really taken effect as it had been hoped. This is probably due to the lack of real supply for that asset class, the affordable housing. We see that it's become more popular amongst developers as it provides a fantastic return generally. But it also the banks and the lending process, a lot of the mortgage-backed products that are currently in the market really aren't conducive for younger working families to go to the bank and rely on a mortgage product. That will change over time. We're seeing some of the banks providing, I guess, more beneficial or more helpful products now to these working class.
Mm-hmm. So with those changes in the real estate market, do you think that the foreign investor will be eager to invest in Vietnam in the next 6 months of the year 2014?
I would hope so. We've got a lot of people that they're making a lot of visits now from Singapore, Hong Kong, even from Europe and then Australia. They're showing interest back in the Vietnam market again. There was one large group that we've seen twice now in the last 2 weeks, and they're very, very active, and they want to really do a deal this year. I think this is the time now, before it does heat up again, for people to come in and really make a change.
Mm-hmm. So being an expert on this field and also a lot about Vietnam as in real estate market, what are your advice for not only the foreigners who are going to invest in Vietnam, but also the government of Vietnam, its recommendation for making the 30 trillion Vietnam dong package of money going into better support for the real estate market?
Sure. For the government side, everything comes down to transparency and ease of doing business. I think that the government is making the right steps at the moment to try and clear a lot of this up. The VAMC is the first step. Foreign ownership is another issue that the government has been talking about for a long time now. I think they're making the right steps. That will also start to drive the real estate market from the middle sector of the residential asset class. It's the market that has the segment of the market that has probably been the most static in the last 2 or 3 years. It's the stock that most Vietnamese can't afford. We've spoken about the 30 trillion and the more affordable asset class. That product is still moving along. It's the most popular, and that's what's kind of driving a lot of the local developers to take on and acquire some of these new projects. That will be, I think, the driver to releasing some of this stock and really get the market moving again.
Mm-hmm. So what will be the trends of the last 2 quarters of the year 2014? Will it be M&A again?
I would hope so. We've got a couple of things we're working on at the moment, which would be quite interesting. Obviously, we'd like to have that done before the end of the year. I think depending on how the implementation of any foreign ownership legislation, whether it goes through, that'll really start to drive the market. I think the local M&A transactions will continue from a local to local, and that will continue to drive the affordable housing sector. And that is, as I said, probably the most important section of the market here in Vietnam at the moment.
So once again, thank you so much for being with us today, and we hope that next time when we have you on our show, the real estate market of Vietnam will have greater move forward.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's the end of the program for today. Thank you so much for watching Sharing Vietnam at 8:30 p.m. on VTC 10 NetViet. If you have any question or recommendation, please send an email to sharingvietnam@vtc.vn. Leave you for today and see you next time.